Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And the name of this one will be Resist Temptation, or Resisting Temptation, something along those lines. And I'm going to get right into it. I want to first go to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. And you can see by the heading here, it says the enticement of sinners. Verse 8 says, "My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother." And you can see those are talking about earthly father and your earthly mother, because they do give us instruction as we're coming up as youths, and it's usually pretty good instruction. It's pretty good direction to help you enter into adulthood, keep you from doing things that could lead to your destruction, lead to your downfall. Verse 9 says, "For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck." Verse 10 says, "My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not." And I wanted to look at this word entice. And it is H6601. I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's H6601. Patha. Patha.
And under the biblical uses, it says to be spacious, to be open, to be wide. All right, it says to make spacious, make open. And now I want to drop down even further under B. B1 says to persuade or to seduce or to deceive. And that's what it is when you're being enticed. You're being seduced, or you're being deceived into doing something that may look on the surface to be something that's inviting to you, or it's drawing you in because it looked like it might be so much fun. You know, it's going along those worldly lines, things that you partake in this world, and something that could be pleasing to the flesh. But in the long run, it can be something that's going to contribute to your downfall. Under the Strong's definition, it says to be simple, or to allure, or to deceive, or enlarge, entice, or to flatter, persuade. All right, and usually one who wants to sinner who wants to bring you along into his folly, into his sin. That's what he's doing. He's enticing you. He's persuading you. He's trying to bring you along to include you into some folly, something that you know is not the right thing for you to do. All right, that's what it's about. It's enticing to you. It looks like it's good on the surface. It looks like it's something that's going to be pleasing to you. All right. Proverbs 4. Stay right in this same book. And I'm going to drop down to verse 13. It says, "Take fast hold on instructions." Just like I was talking about in the last verse, instruction given to you by your parents, your mother or father. It says, "Let not her go." It says, "Keep her, for she is thy life." Verse 14 It says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. And I'm going to read that in the NLT. It says, don't do as the wicked do, and don't follow the path of evildoers. All right, because evildoers are always going to make it look like it's so much fun. They're going to always make it look like it's going to look so pleasurable. It's going to persuade you. It's going to try to draw you in. All right, that's usually how a lot of people end up in situations where they may be not in a position where they can control the outcome of what they've what they've done, simply just by being enticed into doing something that you knew probably in the long run wasn't going to be profitable to you. All right, but that's what seducing is, and that's what the devil wants to do. He wants to seduce you. He wants you to entice you and bring you into something that could contribute to your downfall. All right, that's the temptation. All right, I mean, we're seeing a whole lot of things going on in the world right now, and we're inching closer and closer to that MOTB, mark of the beast. All right, that's taking that sea hip, all right, and having it implanted under your skin. All right, and deceiver, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna make it look like this thing is so convenient and so profitable to you. He's gonna tell you that you don't have to worry about carrying any identification. You don't have to worry about, I mean, speaking of identification, you're seeing a lot of things going on in Minnesota right now. A lot of people being unalived. All right, these agents that are out here, they don't even give you time to be able to present the proper ID in a lot of cases. All right, you can just look like you're reaching for something, and you could indeed be reaching for your wallet just to try to get proper ID, and before you know it, you're being unalived. I'm going to go over to Luke chapter 21. And I'm going to start at, I'm going to go down to verse 32. Read a little bit of this, but this is in the red letter. This is Yahushua speaking. He says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. And when he's saying all be fulfilled, there's only about 3 more prophecies that's written in this scripture that are yet to be fulfilled, that are quickly approaching, and that MOTB being one of them. All right, that is the temptation that's about to be brought upon us. Verse 33 says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Verse 34, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts being your mind, be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. All right, you can be so preoccupied and so taken away that day, that hour, that time will sneak up on you, and before you know it, you're unprepared, and it backs you into a corner where you find yourself, where you're feeling like you have no choice but to take that sea hip under your skin in order to be able to navigate this planet, to do the things necessary for you to be able to take care of yourself. All right, and that's what being preoccupied with the worldly event, these worldly affairs, these things that are going on that can take you away from being watchful. All right, and I wanted to take a look at this word surfeiting. Sarfati. It is G2897, and I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's G 2897, Kraipale. Thayer's Lexicon, related entry, Krepale.
All right, and it says giddiness under the biblical usage, and headache caused by drinking wine to excess. You know what? Even further, I want to go to the root of the word, and I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's G 726, harpazo.
All right, and under the biblical usage, it says to seize, to carry off by force, to seize on, to claim for oneself eagerly, to snatch out or away. And that's what surfeiting is. It gets you carried away, gets you preoccupied where you're not paying attention, where you are in a state of drunkenness. All right? Under the definition, the Strong's definition, it says to catch. And that's what it does. It sneaks up on you because of you being in that drunken state. All right? You being preoccupied with the cares of this world. And it says to pluck, pull, or take you away by force. All right? And that's what surfeiting is. All right? It's catching you in a drunken state, catching you in a state where you're unaware, catching you off guard, and it's going to pluck you and grab you and take you in. All right, and I just have a few more of these that I want to go, because we're seeing just that happening to people right now. All right, because they're not being watchful and not aware of the things that are coming up on them, because gradually this MOTB is coming into play. All right, they're showing you all these things and that are taking place in various cities where there's a lot of rioting going on. All right, these agents are out, and they're not having any regard, and they're giving more and more. They're making more and more laws on their own accord, where they even have made a law which is not constitutional, but they have a law right now that they're trying to put into play where they can go, if they have reason to believe that you're a non-citizen is in a residence, that they can go to this residence, and without having a warrant, announce who they're looking for, and if the door is not open, they're able to go ahead and gain access to this residence without having a warrant, simply because they say that they're looking for a certain individual. All right, that's unconstitutional to enter into someone's premises without having a warrant or have a reason to search. So they're slowly putting you and backing you into a situation where you're being very desperate. All right. Like I said, I wanted to go over to Romans chapter 6. It's a lot here for me going a little off subject, because I know I wanted to keep this about resisting temptation. Romans 6 and verse 13 says, "Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness into sin, but yield yourselves unto the Most High as those that are alive from the dead," meaning having this 100% truth, "and your members as instruments of righteousness unto the Most High." All right, and I want to read that in the NLT. It says, "Do not let any part of your body become an instrument of evil." to serve sin. Instead, give yourselves completely to the Most High, for you were dead, but now you have new life. So those things that you did before you came into this truth, before you gave into the understanding and the knowledge and knowing the names, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, all right, you have to leave those things behind. Those things are the things that lead you into temptation, lead you into sinful acts. All right. It says, so use your whole body as an instrument to do what is right for the glory of the Most High. Salah. And I wanted to say that because when you're being tempted, this devil knows what it is and what it takes in order to tempt you. All right, and I'm not going to go to it. And Salakia, I don't want to misspeak on the verse, but it says like your adversary, the devil, roams about as a roaring lion, seeking to who he may devour. All right, and that's what the adversary does. That's what the devil does. He knows what it takes to tempt you. He knows what you are into in this world before coming into the truth, and he's going to try to take those very tools, those very things, and tempt you and pull you back into the world, to pull you back into sinful ways. All right, and for that reason, you have to gird yourself up. All right, being strong and staying in this word. I just have a few more verses that I wanted to bring out. I want to go to Ephesians chapter 6. I'm going to go down to verse 10, and you can see that heading says the armor of the Most High, and that's what you have to do. You have to guard yourself. You have to put on the armor of the Most High. All right, because the temptation is going to get stronger and stronger, just as these prophecies come to pass. All right. Verse 10 says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might." I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna read some more of this, but I want to go back into Proverbs. Chapter 18 and verse 10, because it says, "The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower, and the righteous runneth into it and is safe." All right, and that's something that you have to remember, knowing these names and knowing what name to call on. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, He is, or He exists. Yahweh Shai, He being His Son, mean He delivers or He saves. And when you're faced with these temptations, and when you're faced with this world trying to pull you back in to those worldly ways that you have to know the names, the proper names to be able to call on, because those names are names that will deliver you. All right, you can't call on JC because JC is of this world, and you call on that name, that's going to allow you to fall right back into those worldly ways. All right, you have to know the name, and you have to know where safety is. And the name Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, those are names that provide safety. Those are names that will build you up. Those are names that are a strong tower to you. Those are the names that you can believe in and trust in. All right. I'm gonna go back into Ephesians. And I'm gonna finish up here right back at chapter 6. Verse 10 says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Just put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." All right. Verse 12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing with this current administration, you're seeing spiritual wickedness. And they're in positions of high places right now where they're able to make unrighteous laws or unrighteous decrees and be able to actually bring them about or to try to enforce them. All right. This is verse 13. "Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand." It says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girt about you with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked." I want to read that in the NLT. It says, "In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil." And that's what you have to have. You have to have strong faith. Like I said, believing in those names and believing in this truth. All right. Verse 17 says, "And take," back in the KJV, it says, "and take the helmet of salvation, having hope." All right. "And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High." And in NLT verse 17 says, "Put on salvation as your helmet, and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High." All right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. And I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. Shalom.